There is a patch happening tomorrow in Madden 26, and EA just released all the Gridiron Notes for what's happening in the patch, and I'm going to walk through what that's going to mean for you, for gameplay, how that's going to affect the game, and everything that you need to know about this patch. So I got to admit, this is one of the longer articles for Gridiron Notes that I've ever seen. They really are addressing a lot of things. There are some gameplay related things, there's some UI and presentation related things and Ultimate Team related things in here, but I'm going to go through what I think are important specifically for gameplay in here. So first of all, catching. They increased catch knockout chance for more realistic KO outcomes on competitive game style. This would be really big and much needed if the tuning is correct. So it all comes down to how well they tune this. It could be something where KOs actually work if you have the KO ability. It could also just be something where you don't need KOs and people are just going to get knockouts naturally like they probably should anyway. We'll see. That would be a really good change if that's tuned properly, where people will actually drop the football from time to time when they're getting hit. So that would be really good. Fixed catch animation blending, not really interested in that. Fixed catching issue on stretch alert bubble, I don't care. What I think here is a big negative. They did do a locomotion update, and specifically they increased acceleration when escaping the pocket for elite scrambling QBs like Lamar Jackson. Why would you do this, EA? I have no idea why this would be a good idea. There is already a scrambling issue in Madden 26, and to make it better, now I know in Madden Ultimate Team they are releasing Lamar Jackson here very shortly, so maybe that's the reason they're doing it, just to make that card very overpowered. But I got to tell you, this is not a good change. This is a really bad idea. But again, we'll see. We'll see how much of a drastic change that ends up being. Addressed a couple issues with no cut animations and wide receivers jogging. I'm not entirely sure what these are going to do, but here's kind of the big one. Tuning to reduce the effectiveness of the spin move for taller ball carriers. If you guys weren't aware of this, people like Randy Moss and T. Higgins, if you put spin cycle on them, they would get an absolutely overpowered spin move. So we'll see if that's still effective or not, or if that actually gets addressed. But that's, I think, what they're talking about to the tuning of the effectiveness of the spin move here. And I'm not really exactly sure. Fixing the issue causing the safety and coverage to sometimes use incorrect drastic turn. That might be related to them playing in coverage and them just not playing people in a corner out. Not sure. Not exactly sure what that is. Post play, don't really care about. We're going to move to defense. So defense, I would have expected a ton of changes here, and I don't think we really got much. They changed one really specific thing about an animation and against gun empty Steelers cross. I mean, okay. Fixed an AI issue causing AI controlled defense to sometimes align in goal line. All right. Fixed an issue with zone coverage defenders flipping coverage assignments to the opposite side of the field in nickel 3-3 single mug formation when the offense flips the play. That is good, I will say that, but this happens in lots of other formations too. So if they only address this in nickel 3-3 single mug, I think this happens in big nickel over G. Sometimes this happens in nickel wide. I don't know why this would only be addressed in 3-3 single mug, but whatever. Pass rush. Let's talk about this real quickly. So maybe this should just be under the defense section, but whatever. There are a couple huge changes that I want to talk about as we get further down this list on defense, but let's cover this first. So fixed an issue where defenders with equal or lower pass rush ratings were unable to trigger super win. Now all defenders have a fair chance to break through based on situational factors and ratings. This could be really big. So I think what EA is really aiming for is they're aiming for you to put abilities on your defensive line, and they're aiming for you to just rush 4 people and play coverage behind it and occasionally send like a slot corner or a linebacker on a blitz. They want you to play like sim style of football. They don't want you to be able to send 3 people and get home. And that's what I think they're going for here. They're really trying to, I think, again, I could be wrong, they're trying to decrease the timer that quarterbacks have in the pocket if you just rush 4 people standard. So we'll see how this plays. If this right here essentially changes how the defensive line gets pressure, and let's just say, for example, they get pressure like you get in practice mode at the beginning of the year, this is really, really good for defense. Like, it would be really nice to just be able to send 4 and rely on pressure a lot of the time. Adjusted animations to contains. Whenever they touch contains, I always am skeptical of it. It seems like they try to adjust contains throughout the year and they always get worse, but we'll see. Sometimes they adjust these and they turn into overpowered blitzes. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll see. I'm going to skip down a little bit here, and we're going to go to general. Increased QB fumble chance versus user hit stick on competitive game styles for better gameplay balance. Now, this is really good. I don't think it should have to be a hit stick. I think quarterbacks, whenever they scramble and they get hit in the open field, they should just fumble. But again, that's me. But again, this could be a good change. Again, let's just say that people will scramble with their quarterback and they start getting hit more. They should fumble more. That should be the penalty for scrambling with your quarterback if you don't slide. Here's a couple other things though. Resolved an issue where ball carrier coach adjustments was impacting players, resulting in user-controlled ball carries sometimes having a 0% fumble chance. I'm okay with that, having a 0% fumble chance if you are on conservative. I don't know if this is related to conservative or not. It doesn't really make it clear, but again, well, I don't know really what this pertains to, but we'll see what that ends up being. Greatly improve visual clarity when a player on the field triggers an ability. So we're going to see some new ability like light ups or animations or something. We'll see what that looks like. Here's one specific play that they're addressing. So if you guys were using the Tampa Bay or the Carolina offensive playbooks and you ran gun bunch strong nasty and you ever ran the play motion double pass, sometimes you'd get this problem where your offensive players would get called for being illegally down the field. Looks like they're addressing that, so you don't get the penalty for that. So maybe that's a good change, maybe it's not. We'll see. And then some of these are just kind of superstar or CPU related, not too interested in this. Here's an interesting one. They have now made field goal kickers with the 99 kick power ability able to achieve a 70-yard field goal. So that is wild. That is the farthest field goal that we've ever had in Madden for sure. But they're doing this because, you know, we're seeing NFL kickers actually being able to do this. So it's realistic. It's fine. I think I'm good with that. This is interesting too. There were some block kicked like exploits that people were using online. They would just kind of rush right up the middle. If they timed it right, you'd be able to get a block kick. I'm glad that they're actually removing that. That's good. And this could be big too. People that were scum kicking. I think this is to try to address scum kicking on kickoffs. Again, we'll see how effective this is. Not sure, but it looks like they're at least trying to address this. Now, here are kind of the big things. All right. So these are some playbook fixes, and I really don't care about these. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is the cool stuff. We got some new formations in the game. And this is really interesting, even what their rationale for the second one was. So the first one, 3-3-5, penny 3 high. They talk about in here how the Cardinals are essentially the reason that this defensive formation got added, but in reality, it's, you know, kind of a college football type of scheme. If you play college football 26 or 25, you've seen the 3 high looks out of those pretty continually in different formations. So that's good. Always open to new formations. That's wonderful. Dime single mug and 2-3 single mug. This is where it's interesting. Okay. I'm just going to read the dev note. Added to provide more flexibility to disguise in your defensive scheme. Single mug looks to force offenses into more one-on-one pass protections, making it easier to generate heat with stunts and targeted blitzes, especially off the slot. The 3-3-5 penny, or the 3-3-5 penny 3 high safety, is based on a real-life Arizona Cardinals innovations. This defense brings a modern spin, 3 deep safeties, and fast front personnel, which I'm not entirely sure what that means, but we'll probably see that when we get into game with it. Create unique run fits and coverage shells, ideal for keeping offenses guessing pre and post snap. So that's essentially the first one is really interesting because I think they are trying to tune that to help you with stunts and get a lot of one-on-ones just in the pass rush. That would be very good. And then additionally, the 3-3-5 penny one, like we just talked about, this is something that's been in college football a number of times, but that's to try to help you disguise defenses. So this could be really good, be really interesting how these actually play. They also added some new plays in a couple different formations as well. So they've got Blitz Loop 3, Nickel Sim 2, and Field Sim 3. Now, if these are what I think they are out of some of these nickel formations, where we've got Cross Sim 2, Show, Strong Safety Sim 2, and Cover 2 Roll, I think we're going to have a little bit more loop blitzing from the nickel formations. That'll be interesting. Also, double mug, just if you're adding more plays to double mug, it's going to be even more meta. So you're going to see even more pros probably running double mug for a while. We'll see, again, depending on what happens with that single mug and the 3-3-5 3 high safety. Then they did update some playbooks. So these are kind of the playbooks where we did see them add some new different formations in them. Again, you can pause this and screenshot it if you want. But you know, the Bengals got a ton of new defensive formations. The Cardinals got a few. The Colts got a number of them. The Raiders actually, they added nickel over and got rid of nickel 2-4, which are almost the same formation. I don't know why they would do that. I just go through the time of doing that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But you did get some just substantial updates. So interesting in there. And then a bunch of presentation and franchise things, superstar mode, ultimate team. These are some just quality of life things for the most part in these. There's not like big changes that they're doing that are going to be monumental for the actual game itself, but it is very interesting. So those are the big gameplay changes that we're going to be seeing moving into the patch update for Madden 26. But again, it's still needs to be tested. Like, we need to see what these changes are going to be, especially that the wide receiver knockouts thing. If that becomes a thing, that's really big. And then also the defensive line. If we start seeing the defensive line actually shed a little bit more and people can actually rely on just sending 4 people and getting pretty substantial heat that way, that would, in my opinion, be very, very good for the game. So let me know in the comments what you think of the patch, what you're excited about it. Also, maybe what you're disappointed in not seeing in it. There's a number of different things that I would have loved to see in here that they certainly didn't appear to address anyway, but we'll see how it actually comes out when the patch comes out tomorrow. So again, this should be live tomorrow, October 22nd. And again, let me know in the comments what you think.